Hi everyone, welcome to 11.3 part 2. The last thing that we looked at in 11.3 part 1 was how we use ratio to help us convert between units. Okay, so please pause the video, have a go at the questions that you can see on the screen at the moment and see what you can remember. You do need to know your conversions before you can do the question. So have a think what kilometres are in metres, grams to kilograms, litres to millilitres, and millilitres to centimetres. And then when you've done the answer, play the video again and I'll go through the solutions with you to recap. Bear with me please whilst I get the visualizer up. Okay, so for question 1, you want to know what 3.2 kilometres is in metres. So question 1, you want to know 3.2 kilometres, what it is in metres. So remember your ratio, how you form them. You're doing a ratio of kilometres to metres, so you need to know your conversion. You should know that 1 kilometre is 1,000 metres. We're looking for what 3.2 kilometres is, so you put your 3.2 in your kilometre column and you say to yourself, what do I need to do to get from 1 to 3.2? Well, I multiply by 3.2. Okay, therefore I'm going to do the same to my metres, so that I'm going to get what it is in metres. So times by 3.2, that would give me 3,200 metres. Okay, so you're showing that 3.2 kilometres is 3,200 metres. Okay, if you didn't get that and you're not sure, please pause the video again now and have a go at the next questions now that you've had a bit of a refresh of how you do it. Okay, question 2. We want to know what 5,500 grams are in kilograms. Okay, so how many kilograms is 5,500 grams? So I'm doing grams to kilograms, and you should know that 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. So you ask yourself, you put in the information, you've got 5,500 grams that you want to convert. How do I get from 1,000 to 5,500? I times by 5.5. Okay, so I have to do the same with my kilograms. So 1 multiplied by 5.5 is 5.5. Okay, and therefore 5,500 grams is 5.5 kilograms. The key part here that's going to determine whether you can answer the question is if you know your conversions. And as I've said in the previous lesson, you do need to know them. There are scenarios that you'll be given them, but for things like grams to kilograms, you won't. So you do need to know them. So question 3, you're looking at what 1.6 litres is in millilitres. Okay, so we're going from litres to millilitres. So what's your conversion? Well, I know 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres. The question's asking what 1.6 litres is in millilitres, so I'll put my 1.6 in my litre column. How do I get from 1 to 1.6? Well, I times by 1.6, so I'll have to do the same with my millilitres. 1,000 multiplied by 1.6 is 1,600. So the answer is 1,600 millilitres. Final one, question 4. They want 110 millimetres in centimetres. So how many centimetres is 110 millilitres? So I'm doing millilitres millimeters, I always say milliliters, sorry, millimeters to centimeters. I know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. Okay, so my ratio there is 10 to 1. Then I need to put the information that I know in. So they've asked me for 110 millimeters. And I'm going to work out how many centimeters that is. So how do I get from 10 to 110? I multiply by 11. Therefore, I multiply my 1 by 11. And my answer is 11 centimeters. Okay, so hopefully that's refreshed your mind in what it was that we were looking at last lesson. So today's lesson is just further question practice. We're not going to go through any more examples. If you need a refresh of the examples, please go back to the previous part of 11.3 and look at the examples again if you're struggling. But this lesson is going to be question practice. Okay? And the first one is there. So I'm going to read through the question. I'm going to give you some pointers because this is a bit of a tricky question. However, once you know what you're doing, it's fine. It's just like any other question, okay? So the question says, Linda is buying wool to knit a baby's blanket. She needs 1,800 yards of wool. Linda chooses some balls of wool. There are 245 meters of wool in each ball of wool. She knows that 1 yard is 36 inches and 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. How many balls of wool does Linda need to buy? You must show all your working. Okay, and the hint says, present your work clearly and remember to show the units next to each number. Explain what you're doing at each step so it's easy for an examiner to follow. Okay, so what I'm going to do, get the visualizer up again, and I'm going to start you off with kind of how you should approach the question so that you can make a good start. Okay, so we know she needs 1,800 yards, okay? So she needs 1,800 yards of wool. And she's going to buy balls of wool that are 245 meters each, okay? So each ball of wool is 245 meters. And the question wants to know, how many does she need to buy, okay? So how many balls? So what we need to know is what 1,800 yards is in meters, okay? Because we're not going to be able to work out how many balls she needs without converting 1,800 yards into meters, okay? So our aim, what you're going to be working out to help you know how many balls you'll need, is 1,800 yards in meters. And the question's helped you out a little bit. It's told you your yards to inches. It's told you your inches to centimeters. Then you need to get your centimeters to meters. That's the additional part. That's the extra bit of knowledge you need. So you need to start by converting her 1,800 yards into inches. And then from there you need to convert the inches into centimeters. And finally centimeters to meters. Then you'll be able to use that to work out how many balls of wool she needs. Please use a calculator because you'll need it. Pause the video, have a go with what I've told you so far. That should be enough to get you going. And then play the video when you're ready to go through the solution, please. Okay, so I won't recap this part again too much. 1,800 yards of wool. We need to work out what that is in meters, okay? We're going to use what the question has told us to help us convert. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is convert our yards to inches. they've told us that 1 yard is 36 inches. We have, or Linda has, or needs 1,800 yards. So to get us to meters, the first thing we're going to do is convert those yards to inches. How do I get from 1 to 1,800? I times by 1,800. So I need to do the same on my inches, so times by 1,800, and that will give you 64,800 inches. Okay, so we now know 1,800 yards is 64,800 inches. That's the start. That's the first thing. We're now going to go from inches to centimetres, because remember our aim is meters. So we're going to go inches to centimetres. We have 64,800. Sorry, I should have put in our inches to centimetres. It's 1 inch, it's told us in the question, to 2.54 centimetres. Okay, sorry, that's a bit squashed, but hopefully you can see that. So 1 inch is 2.54 centimetres. We've got 64,800 inches, and we want to know what that is in centimetres. So how do I get from 1 to 64,800? I multiply by 64,800. Therefore, as always, it's the same method. I have to do the same on my centimetre side and multiply that by 64,800. Remember, you should be using a calculator. That will give you 164,592. Okay, so that's how many centimetres of wall she needs. So the final part is to get those centimetres into metres. This is the bit that they didn't tell you, you had to know. The centimetres to metres, I know there are 100 centimetres in 1 metre. I've got 164,592 centimetres, and I need to work out what that is in metres. So how do I get from 100 to 164,592? I multiply by 1,645.92. If you're unsure how to work that bit out, you can do the opposite, you can divide. So you take this number and divide by the 100, and it would give you that, and that shows you what you'd need to multiply by. Okay, so I multiply by 1,645.92. And as always, I therefore need to do that on the other side that I'm converting. So multiply 1 by 1,645.92, and that gives me 1,645.92. Okay, so we know now, therefore, remember these 3 dots mean therefore, Linda needs 1,645.92 meters of wool. Okay, we know each ball is 245 meters. Therefore, she needs 1,645.92 divided by the 245. That's going to tell us how many balls, because that's how much she needs. That's how much per ball, which gives us 6.72 balls. So Linda needs 6.72 balls. Okay, hopefully you know you couldn't go to the till and say, excuse me, I want 6.72 balls of wool. She's going to have to buy 7. So therefore, she needs 7 balls in order to knit her blanket. Okay, so she needs 7 balls of wool. And that's the end. So you just had to work out what you needed to do to get the answer you were looking for. So it's just this stage, it's just the conversions. The numbers were a bit nasty, but you could use a calculator. And then at the end, once you knew how many meters she needed, you needed to work out how many balls that would be. Okay? Well done if you got that. If you didn't, try and go through the solution again, have a look at it again, and see if you would get there if you were to have a look at that question now. Okay, and that's the answer there, 7. Okay, so pause the video again. Please have a go at this question. I'm not going to give you any help there. You've got a hint in the bottom corner from the textbook. Please use that. Have a go, pause the video, and then play when you're ready to go through the solution. Okay, so the question says, on the day Lucy buys some US dollars for her holiday, £1 buys 1.68 US dollars. How many dollars does Lucy get for £500? Okay, this is much more straightforward than the one before. We're doing pounds to dollars. The pounds to dollars. She got £1, got her 1.68 dollars. So we needed to work out what £500 gets her. Okay, and I should have said you could use a calculator for this one, but if you didn't and you worked it out without, that's even better. Okay, so she got £500 worth. So 1 to 500 I multiply by 500. Therefore, I need to multiply my other side by 500. 1.68 multiplied by 500 is 840. Okay, so she's going to get $840. And that's your answer. Okay. The next question, I'm going to leave my split screen up because it just makes it a little bit easier for me. So it says, choose an amount in pounds from the cloud. Choose an exchange rate from the table. Work out how much money you will get. Repeat for 2 more amounts and currencies, okay? So you just need to pick an amount from the cloud, 3 of them, and you need to pick 3 of the exchange rates and convert each of those amounts using one of the exchange rates, okay? Remember to set it out as I have in the previous question. And then play the video, please, when you are ready to go through a solution. Okay, I'll only do 1 or 2 of them because you'll all have different answers depending on which ones you picked. Okay, so please pause and come back when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, so on the screen there are all the different answers depending on the amount and the currency you picked to convert. So that's just in a table, but you wouldn't have done it like that because you weren't doing all of the amounts in all of the currencies. You're only picking 3, okay? So I'm going to, for my first one, I'm going to pick £200. And I want to know what that is in rupees, okay? So in rupees. So I'm doing pounds to rupees. I'm just going to call them R because none of the others begin with R. So pounds to rupees. I know from my table £1 is 99.12 rupees. So then what I need to do, I've picked £200. I want £200 in rupees. So what do I do to get from 1 to 200? I multiply by 200. So I need to do the same on the other side and multiply 99.12 by 200, and that would give me 19,824 rupees, okay? Because I had to multiply that by the same amount. Okay, I don't think I'm going to pick another one because you can see all the answers in the table. That's just the method you had to use, okay? You had to pick an amount, pick a currency and convert. What was that gone up? Have a look. The wrong way. So, have a go there. So, question 12 says use the table in question 11. So I've put the table at the bottom there for you. So it says use the table in question 11. How many pounds does Sue get for for 300 Swiss francs. That's part A. And part B is which is worth more, 49,560 rupees or 85,700 yen. So please use the table to work that out. Pause the video and come back when you're ready for the solution. Okay, so how many pounds does Sue get? So this is 12A. How many pounds does Sue get for 300 Swiss francs? Okay, so from our table we've got pounds to francs. I'm just going to call it F. None of the others begin with F. So pounds to francs. The table tells us £1 is 1.5 Swiss francs. Okay, so I've just put that information in so far. It says how many pounds does she get for 300 Swiss francs? So I'm going to put my 300 in my francs column. And I have to work out, well, what do I do to get from 1.5 to 300? Okay, remember, if you don't know, if you can't work out what you multiply it by, you do 300 divided by 1.5 and that tells you your multiplier. Okay, so that would be 200. So I need to multiply 1.5 by 200 to get to 300. Therefore, I need to multiply my 1 by 200 to work out how many pounds that is, and that would be 200 pounds. Okay, so for part A, your answer is 200 pounds. So you just wrote out your information, put in what the question told you, and worked out how you got from the exchange rate equivalent. Okay, and up. Then it says, part B, which is worth more, 49,560 rupees or 85,700 yen? So you're going to have to convert both back to pounds to be able to compare. So I'm going to start with my rupees. I'm going to do pounds to rupees. From the table I know that £1 is 99.12 rupees. And I have, from the question, 49,560 rupees. Okay, so to work out what you had to do to get from 99.12 to 49,560, you need to do 49,560 divided by 99.12, and that will give you a multiplier of 500. Okay, therefore I need to times my 1 by 500, and it tells me that 49,560 rupees is £500. So I'm going to write that down so I'm clear what I'm doing. £500. I need to do the same now for my yen. Okay, so I'm going to go pounds to yen. From the table, I can see that 172.2 yen is equivalent to £1. And I've got from the question 85,700 yen. So I need to work out how do I get from 172.2 to 85,700. If you put that in your calculator and divide it, you're going to get multiplied by, you've got lots of decimals here, 497.67712. Okay? Or you can just do 497.68. Okay, if you rounded it. So 1 multiplied by 497.68 gives me 497.68. So therefore, 85,700 yen is equal to £497.68. Okay, the question says which is worth more. You need to say the rupees are worth more. Make sure you conclude when the question is asking you to do so. Okay, so it asks you which is worth more. So that wouldn't be enough just to do the workings. You'd have to then say a concluding statement. Okay, so well done if you did that. You got that? If not, please have a look back, see what you did wrong, and then try and make sure you correct that going forward. Okay, question 13. You've been given a hint. I'll quickly read through the question with you and then pause the video and play when you're ready to go through the solution. So it says the diagram shows two rectangles. You've got rectangle A and rectangle B. Write these ratios in their simplest form. So you're doing the width of rectangle A to rectangle B, the length of rectangle A to rectangle B, and then the area of rectangle A to rectangle B. Okay, so please pause the video and play when you're ready to go through the solution. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick sketch of the rectangles. You'll have the question in front of you in the exam, so you wouldn't need to do the sketch, but if it helps you to kind of get your head around it, that's fine. This one's bigger, this is B, it's only rough, so 15 centimetres and 6 centimetres. Okay, so part A, write the ratios in the simplest form, and we want the width of A to B. So A to B, we're looking at width. Okay, so I'm going to go for my 5 to 15, so 5 to 15. It doesn't matter which one you pick, so 5 to 15 as long as you're comparing the same side, okay? So 5 to 15, I want it in its simplest form. They're both ending in 5, they're both divisible by 5. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 15 3 times, okay? So that's your answer in its simplest form, done. Part B, the lengths of A to B, so we're doing A to B, no 2 to 6, so A was 2, B is 6. Simplify, they're both even, they're both divisible by 2. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So my ratio is 1 to 3. Then I want to do my area. So before I can work out my ratio for my area, I need to work out the areas of each shape. The area for A, remember you're going to do your width times your length, so I'm going to do 5 times 2, which equals 10 centimetres squared, and area B is equal to 6 times 15. What did I think wrong? The area of rectangle B. Sorry, bear with me. No, yeah, that's right. So 15 times 6, and that's 90 centimetres squared. So now you need to do your ratio for the area A to B, but we had 10 to 90. They both end in 0, so they're both divisible by 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1, 90 divided by 10 is 9. So your simplified ratio there is 1 to 9. Okay, so what the discussion said, what did you notice about the results? Well, hopefully the first thing you noticed is the width and the length have the same ratio. Okay, they're similar shapes, so they have the same ratio. And also for the area, if you square 1, you get 1, and if you square 3, you get 9. Okay, so the area is the square of the side length ratios. Okay, and there's your answers there. Okay, next questions are up on the screen for you. Please pause the video and play when you're ready to go through the solutions. Okay, so question 14. It says the diagram shows two cubes. Write these ratios in their simplest form. So it wants the height of A to the height of B. So we're doing A to B, and we're doing it with the height Okay, so the height, we've got 3 to 5. Once it's in its simplest form, well, that can't be simplified any further, okay? So we can't go any further than that. So that is your answer for part A. Part B wants the ratio of the area of face A to the area of face B, okay? So face A is just going to be the flat, it's just going to be the square face of A to the square face of B, okay? This is 5, that means all the sides are 5. This is 3, that means all the sides are 3, okay? And they're all centimetres. So to find the area of the face of A, I'm going to do 3 times 3, which gives me 9 centimetres squared. And for the face of B, you do 5 times 5, which gives you 25 centimetres squared. Okay, so my ratio for the area of the face is, I'm doing A to B. A was 9, B was 25. So you put it like that. And again, they're in their simplest form. Okay, so you can't simplify that any further. They don't have any common factors other than 1 now, so that's as simple as they can be. Then the final one for part C, since I know I've got more space, is for the volume. So first, before you can do the ratio, you need to work out the volume of A and the volume of B. Okay, so remember, length times width times depth is a cube, so they're all the same. So it's just 3 times 3 times 3. That's going to give me 27 centimetres cubed. The same for B, it's a cube still, so they're all 5. So 5 times 5 times 5, and that gives you 125 centimetres cubed, because it's a volume, so it's centimetres cubed, okay? That's the first step. Second step, you need to do your ratio. We're going A to B. The volume for A is 27. The volume for B is 125. And you can't simplify those, so that is in its simplest form. So that would be you finished for question 14. Okay, question 15. A bag contains 11 red counters and 3 white. Okay, so red to white, 11 to 3. Part A. What is the ratio of red counters to white counters? Well, I just did it. That's the habit you need to get into. As you're reading these ratio questions, write out what it's telling you. Well, I know my ratio is 11 to 3, red to white, okay? B, what fractions of the counters are red? Remember, your numerator, your top number, is the number of red counters. And your denominator, your bottom number, is the total number of counters. So you have to add your ratio together. 11 plus 3 is 14. So your answer for B is 11/14. To C, which fraction of the counters are white? Well, it's the same thing. There are 3 white counters out of a total of 14 counters in the bag. So you should have 3/14 as your answer there. Okay, and there's all the answers if you didn't get them from my sheet. Okay, pause the video again, please. Have a go. These are the last 2 questions now, so please pause, have a go, and come back when you are ready. Okay, so 16 says, in a box of mints and toffees, 3/4 of the sweets are mint and 1/4 are toffees, okay? So the first thing I'll write out is I've got mints and toffees. So my ratio, this is 16, mints to toffees. I'm going to put them as fractions at the moment. 3/4 to 1/4. Okay? What is the ratio? This is part A. What is the ratio of mints to toffees? Well, hopefully, what you've learnt from what we've done so far when we're making fractions out of our ratios is the top number is the number in the ratio. The bottom number is the ratio added together. So actually, my ratio from mints to toffees is just 3 to 1. Okay, because my top number for mints is 3, top number for toffees is 1. So your answer for A is 3 to 1. Okay? Or if you look at the question hint, they kind of wrote out the 3/4 and 1/4 in a bar model for you there. Part B says there are 8 toffees in the box. How many mints are there? Well, this is where we compare. So we've got mints to toffee. 3 to 1 is our ratio. And they've said there's 8 toffees in the box. So you put 8 in your toffees column. How do I get from 1 to 8? I multiply by 8. So I need to do the same here and multiply my 3 by 8. And that will tell me that there are 24 mints in the box. Part C, how many sweets are there in the box altogether? Well, all you need to do is you need to add your 24 and your 8 together, which should give you 32 sweets. Okay? Question 17. In a band, 3/5 of the members are male and the rest are female. A, what is the ratio of males to females? Right, so I'm going to start out. 3/5 are male, so male to female, 3/5 male, therefore 2/5 are going to be female. As with the previous question, the denominator is just the two ratios added together. So my ratio of male to female is going to be 3 to 2. That's your answer for part A. Part B says, Maya thinks there are 18 people in the band. Explain why she is wrong. So she thinks in total there are 18 people in the band. If I added my ratio together, I get 5, right? So 3 plus 2 is 5. 18 isn't divisible by 5. If you divide by 18 by 5, you'd get a decimal number. Okay? Therefore, it's not right. She's not right. You can't have part of a person in a band. However many the number of people there are in the band is going to be a multiple of 5. Okay? So the reason it's asked why is she wrong, and you need to say because 18 is not divisible by 5 or something along those lines, or the number of people in the band must be a multiple of 5, something like that. That'll get you the mark, okay? So that's the end of the lesson. Well done. There's a lot of question practice in there, some of it a bit tricky. The exam style question was a bit harder, so that's worth looking at again. But otherwise, the concept is the same, and you're just doing the same thing over and over. You just need to take the key information from the question. So well done. Thank you very much.